Your first-place Denver Broncos just received incredible news as they prepare to extend their winning streak from 4 games to 5. Everything coming out of training camp today points toward momentum, energy, and belief surging through this team. Sean Payton addressed the media with confidence, responding to recent chatter about Russell Wilson and sharing his thoughts on the upcoming trade deadline, and it's clear this team is locked in on one goal: winning. Before we dive deeper into today's exciting updates, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with your friends. And of course, hit the bell icon so you never miss an update on your Denver Broncos. Now, back to the action, and the news couldn't be better. Aside from linebacker Dre Greenlaw, who remained sidelined due to a suspension appeal that was unfortunately denied, the Broncos had every other player present and practicing. That's a huge boost for a team hungry to keep its momentum alive. Because of Greenlaw's suspension, the Broncos filled an open practice squad spot by bringing back Kerry Rowan, a name fans will remember. Rowan made waves during training camp with his blazing speed, a 4.55-second 40-yard dash, and his incredible preseason catch that had everyone talking. His return could have real impact, especially after the recent special teams mishap on that R.J. Harvey kick return. Don't be surprised if Rowan gets called up to share return duties with Marvin Mims, adding a dangerous spark to Denver's return game without costing a roster spot. And as if that wasn't enough good news, the Broncos also got a huge sigh of relief with Mike McGlinchey. The star right tackle, who's been a rock this season protecting Wilson, got rolled up on last week. But like the warrior he is, he's already back at practice, showing no signs of missing the upcoming game against Dallas. That's the kind of toughness that defines this Broncos squad. This team is healthy, confident, and ready to prove that their hot streak is no fluke, it's the start of something special. The good news keeps rolling in for Denver. Jonah Elliss is officially back at practice and expected to suit up this week. His return is massive. Elliss has been a relentless force on defense and special teams, constantly finding his way into the backfield and creating chaos for opposing offenses. When you can rotate between Jonathan Cooper, Nick Bonitto, Darius Tillman, and now Elliss, that's an incredible amount of speed and pressure coming off the edge. It's the kind of depth that championship-caliber teams are built on. And speaking of depth, take a look around the league. By week 8, most teams' injury reports look like a novel, but not the Broncos. Sean Payton's demanding training camp, full of tough practices, fast tempo, and maximum effort, is paying off. This team is healthy, battle-tested, and hungry. Even Dre Greenlaw, who's sitting out due to what most fans are calling a bogus suspension, would have been back by now if not for the league's decision. Still, the Broncos aren't letting that slow them down. One of the biggest concerns this week is facing 2 of the best wide receivers in football, which means Denver's safety unit has to be at full strength. That's why seeing Talanoa Hufanga and Brandon Jones both back at practice is such a huge relief. There was real worry after Jones took that hard hit last game, and when Hufanga collided on that near interception, it looked scary for a moment. But both are back, and that's a massive sign that this defense will be close to 100%. The only real downside from today's updates is the confirmation that Dre Greenlaw's suspension was officially upheld, something most fans, and even Coach Payton, clearly feel was unjust. When asked about it, Payton kept his cool, simply saying he had thoughts he couldn't share. A smart move, knowing his rocky history with the league office. Still, fans can't help but notice the inconsistency. A player from another team can throw a punch after a game and get a single-game suspension, yet Greenlaw gets sidelined for something far less. It's frustrating, it's unfair, but the Broncos are using it as fuel. This team has embraced an us-against-the-world mindset, and it's showing in their toughness, unity, and will to win. The situation with Dre Greenlaw has been nothing short of chaotic. What started as a minor on-field exchange turned into a full-blown controversy, something that never should have reached this level. If not for the referee's reaction and the league's follow-up statement, most people wouldn't have even known what was said. It was a strange, unnecessary incident that's now impacting the Broncos in a major way. This week, that absence looms large. Jonas Strnad will be stepping into Greenlaw's role, and while he's a fierce tackler and a force against the run, the key challenge will be in coverage, particularly against tight ends. That's where Greenlaw's presence would have been invaluable. We all remember the Super Bowl where Greenlaw helped shut down Travis Kelce before suffering that heartbreaking Achilles injury. Without him, Kelce exploded in the second half and nearly stole the MVP. That's exactly the kind of tight end dominance Denver must prepare for now, because Jake Ferguson of the Dallas Cowboys is having a breakout season. Ferguson already has over 50 receptions and 6 touchdowns in just 7 games, proving he's a legitimate threat. Combine that with CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens on the outside, and Dallas's offense is stacked at every level. The Broncos linebackers will have their hands full. This is the matchup to watch. Can Denver's defense contain Ferguson while still managing Lamb and Pickens? It's going to test every ounce of discipline and communication this unit has. Still, there's plenty of confidence in defensive coordinator Vance Joseph, who's shown an incredible ability to adapt. With Patrick Surtain too expected to shadow Lamb and Riley Moss likely matched up with Pickens, Denver's secondary looks prepared. The real question remains, who takes on number 87? That answer might decide the game. Because when the Broncos defense locks in, when they play united and fearless, they can stop anyone in football. And this week, they'll need every bit of that fire. Now let's get into the real challenge ahead, the Dallas Cowboys. Statistically, they've been one of the league's most explosive offenses this season. They're racking up points and yards like a machine, and when they get rolling, they can light up the scoreboard against anyone. But there's a twist: for all their offensive firepower, Dallas's defense has been struggling. They've allowed big plays, missed key tackles, and looked vulnerable in coverage. That's where the Broncos have to strike. To win this game, Denver needs to play a complete 4 quarters, not just another late-game comeback. We've seen how dominant they can be, like in those electric fourth quarters against the Eagles and Giants, but this week, they'll need that same intensity from the opening kickoff. Sean Payton has made it clear, this is part of his revenge tour. Every week seems to bring another storyline, familiar faces, former players, or coaches with something to prove against him or the Broncos organization. Last week, we saw Lil Jordan Humphrey held to nothing thanks to Riley Moss's lockdown coverage. We've seen Russell Wilson, Aaron Glenn, and Samaje Perine, all tied to different chapters of Payton's past, step into these emotional matchups. And now, this week's storyline belongs to Javonte Williams. The former Bronco returns to face his old team, but unlike some of the tense reunions we've seen, this one feels different. There's no bad blood here, just mutual respect. Payton himself said it best in his press conference: both sides appreciated their time together, and Williams will always have a place in Broncos Country. Adding to the excitement, Denver will take the field in their iconic throwback uniforms, bringing that old-school fire back to Mile High. And quarterback Bo Nix has already set the tone. His leadership, confidence, and relentless energy have given this team an edge that's impossible to ignore. This isn't just another regular season game. It's a statement opportunity. The Broncos are surging, the fans are fired up, and the entire league is watching to see if Denver is truly for real. This week, the message inside the Broncos locker room is clear: it's time to stop being close, and start being great. The stage couldn't be bigger. The Broncos' showdown with the Dallas Cowboys will be televised nationwide during the late-game window. The entire football world will be watching. And Denver has the perfect opportunity to make a statement that echoes across the league. Head coach Sean Payton has built a reputation as one of the NFL's best in October, but this year, the spotlight belongs to Bo Nix. Fans are already calling it Botober for a reason. In October alone, Nix has been on fire, completing over 63% of his passes, throwing for nearly 2,000 yards, 11 touchdowns, and just 1 interception. Add nearly 300 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns on the ground, and it's clear this young quarterback is heating up at the perfect time. The month isn't even over, and his confidence is sky high. But amidst all the excitement, the shadow of the Russell Wilson era still lingers over Denver. After the Giants game, Sean Payton made a light-hearted comment about quarterback changes sparking teams, and while it didn't sound like a jab, Wilson didn't take it lightly. Shortly after, Russell Wilson fired back on social media, calling Payton's words classless and ending the post with his old tagline, "Let's ride." For many in Broncos Country, that hit a nerve. Wilson's time in Denver was marked by high expectations and disappointment, and for some fans, it felt like he'd moved on without accountability. But Sean Payton didn't take the bait. He stayed composed, calm, and professional, proving he's focused on the team's future, not its past. And truthfully, Payton's record speaks for itself. Every team he's led has improved under his watch. Every roster he's touched has found new life. The Broncos are finally beginning to reflect that, playing with purpose, toughness, and belief. This is a team reborn. Bo Nix is rising, the locker room is united, and Sean Payton is steering Denver toward redemption. The message is simple: Broncos Country is done waiting. It's time to win. Sean Payton once again showed why he's the leader this team needs. He didn't take the bait, didn't fire back at Russell Wilson, he simply took the high road. Payton said his comments weren't meant to throw shade at Russ, that he was just giving credit to Jackson Dart. He added that he could understand why Wilson might have taken it personally, but that wasn't his intention. And honestly? Respect. Massive respect. Because if that were me, I might have ended that press conference by saying, "We're making the playoffs without you, second straight year. Broncos Country, let's ride." But that's why Payton is Payton, a man focused on the mission, not the noise. Now, let's talk about what's next. The trade deadline is coming fast, and it's clear, this team is built to compete. The Broncos have proven they can go toe-to-toe with anyone in the league. The 2 games they've lost? Both came down to last-second field goals. That's not a team falling apart, that's a team that's right there. To me, that means it's time to buy, not sell. Add the right piece or two, and this squad can make a real run. But when asked about it, Sean Payton said, "Right now, we like what we have." So now I've got to ask you, what do you think? Should the Broncos make a move before the deadline, or do you believe this group has what it takes to finish the fight? Either way, one thing's for sure, the heart, the grit, and the fire in this locker room are undeniable. Broncos Country, we're not done yet. Let's ride.